These two characters, Christopher Smith from Peacemaker and Stephen J. Lockjaw from One Battle After Another, are perfect examples of the differing ways that white privilege can show up in a person's life, and how if you don't check and acknowledge that privilege, it can eventually have damaging results to yourself and potentially the people around you. Spoilers for both Peacemaker Season 2 and One Battle After Another. I'm not going to talk too much about Peacemaker because I already made a video about it. You can go back and check that out. But we already know this scene from episode 6 where they were out chasing Adebayo because one got out, a black. And Peacemaker is so self-centered and narcissistic that because his life is quote unquote perfect, he didn't even notice that there were no people of color in this world, even though his so-called best friend is a black woman, Adebayo. He didn't even try to find an alternate version of his best friend in this new universe. It took Earth 1 Hardcore to come into this world to even bring to Peacemaker's attention, like, hey, did you not notice that there have been no people of color in this world? But as a cishet presenting white male, he didn't need to look outside of himself because the world was quote unquote made for him. But it would eventually gotten to him at a certain point, because even Chris too from that earth was depressed. He was taking pills, he was drinking in that world, because Chris is also bisexual, which is not allowed in Earth X. Now let's get to this one. Lockjaw. This man thought he was so deserving, thought he was so privileged, thought he benefited from everything that he did, so much so that he was invited into the racist Christmas organization and still thought no matter what, he could continue to do whatever he wanted because he's always been used to getting his way and doing whatever he wanted. Even still sleeping with a black woman, despite the fact that he is in an organization that would inherently frown against that. And not only just that, but even when that very same organization tried to unalive him, he was so blinded by his privilege that he didn't even think or consider that it was this same organization that put that hit out on him. He thought what? That it was just some random act of violence, and if he went to them and made up some lie that Perfidia reverse graped him, that would somewhat be acceptable, because all it takes is a white person just making something up against a black person and they're automatically believe that white person. And so because of that delusion, he ended up putting himself in harm's way twice. And even think about how that translated in the real world. White people were so threatened by the idea of black people going to the same doctor as them. That's why this country doesn't have universal health care, which negatively affects white people too. And that's just one real world example. I can give plenty of others, but I don't want this video to get too long. But anyway, what do you guys think about what I said and the different ways that white privilege could show up in a person's life using the examples of Christopher Smith and Colonel Lockjaw? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, interact for the all gay rhythm.